How's it going, everyone? James Lynch here for Odds Checker US, taking a look at Saturday's UFC 265 main event, which sees Cyril Gane taking on Derrick Lewis for the interim UFC heavyweight title. That's right, this is going to be a 5-round fight for an interim title. The winner supposedly going to be fighting the current UFC heavyweight champion, which is Francis Ngannou, and this is going to be taking place in Derrick Lewis's hometown of Houston, Texas, at the Toyota Center, so a bit of a switch up there. We will have fans, so keep that in mind as well when looking at this fight. Let me get off the screen here, and we're going to take a look at the two gentlemen who are going to be fighting in the main event here. So you see there, it is Cyril Gane, undefeated, 9-0, taking on Derrick Lewis, who is 25-7. Now, I've seen some books have this line pretty crazy in favor of Cyril Gane. You see there, minus 335. I've seen lines as high as minus 400. So a lot of people backing Cyril Gane in this fight. Like I mentioned, he is undefeated, but you look at Derrick Lewis, a lot of experience heading into this fight as well at 25-7. Derrick Lewis from the US, Cyril Gane from France. Actually, Cyril Gane, a former training partner of Francis Ngannou. Derrick Lewis, 36 years old, compared to 31 for Cyril Gane. So not a huge age gap there. And for heavyweight, typically you do have fighters that are a little bit older there. As far as height and reach, pretty similar here. Derrick Lewis, 6'3", Cyril Gane, 6'4". 79-inch reach for Derrick Lewis, 83-inch reach for Cyril Gane. So Cyril Gane going to be a little bit bigger in this fight than Derrick Lewis, but I don't think that's going to be a huge factor in the matchup. It is heavyweight after all. Let's look at Derrick Lewis in terms of what he's done over the last couple of fights. Huge win in his last one, getting that second round knockout over Curtis Blaydes. It's actually the first time that Blaydes has been knocked out cold. If you remember when he was knocked out by Ngannou, Blaydes was able to get up, but Lewis, being the only guy to really knock him unconscious there, had a nice win over Alexei Oleinik before that. So since losing back-to-back fights to Cormier and Junior Dos Santos, he's on a 4-fight win streak. So a lot of momentum coming into this fight for Derrick Lewis. Like I mentioned, he is going to be fighting for the interim title, and a lot to like here about Derrick Lewis. I think he's got some serious knockout power for this division, and he's one of those guys that can knock out anyone in the division at any point. But Cyril Gane, what an incredible run this guy's had so far. Just keep in mind here, he made his UFC debut in 2019, back in August. So it's pretty crazy that just 2 years ago, he made his UFC debut, and now he's fighting for a title. But you can see why here. Finishing that fight, finished Dontel Mays, beat Tanner Boser at the time in the UFC, hadn't had a loss, knocked out Junior Dos Santos, the former champion, beat Rosenstruik, and then his last fight against Volkov, super impressive matchup there, ended up outclassing Volkov. Volkov doesn't lose very often in the UFC. I know he did lose to Lewis, we'll get into that in a second, but still really dominant win there for Cyril Gane. That's why he's getting this title shot, and look how soon this fight's taking place. He fought Volkov in June, and he's ready to get right back in the saddle and fight 2 months later for the interim heavyweight title. Lewis, like I mentioned, does have a win over Volkov as well, but it was literally at the last second. Let's go look at the time of this one. He fought Volkov back in 2018 in October and beat him at 4:49 of round 3. So had Derrick Lewis knock out that knockout, he was going to lose that fight to Volkov by decision. So pretty crazy what Lewis has been able to do in his career. Now, if we're looking at both fighters, let's get back to the tail of the tape here. I mean, I do like Cyril Gane in this fight. I think Lewis has a puncher's chance. We've never really seen Gane. If you look at his past opponents, we'll go quickly back to him here. If you look at the type of opponents he's fought, other than Rosenstruik, he hasn't really fought a lot of guys with one-punch knockout power. There's some guys here that do have TKO wins, but not the type of power that Derrick Lewis has. So that's what's interesting. If Lewis is able to connect, can he knock out Cyril Gane? That's the big question in this fight. In terms of level of competition and experience, Lewis takes that in spades here. That's, look at the guys he's fought. He has a win over Francis Ngannou. He's beat so many other fighters here, Volkov included, Ivanov, Latifi, Oleinik, Blaydes. So if you look at the experience, that goes to Lewis. You look at the knockout power, that goes to Lewis. Gane has, gone the distance in his last 2 fights as well. What I think is going to end up happening in this fight is I think Gane's going to come out with a really smart game plan. I don't think he's going to make any mistakes. He's going to keep Lewis at bay. He's going to avoid those power shots. And as the fight goes on, I think Gane's athleticism will take over, and he will end up either winning a decision or getting a late finish in this one. But I do like Cyril Gane in this fight. Now, am I going to bet minus 400? Absolutely not. That line's really steep, especially for a guy in Lewis who can knock you out at any moment. So maybe you might want to look at some other props, maybe look at some round props, maybe look at Gane by decision. Like I said, his last 2 fights have gone the distance, so that's something to keep in mind as well here. But I do like Cyril Gane in this fight. Again, younger, undefeated, really hasn't shown any flaws in his game here. And I just think he has more ways to win than Derrick Lewis. I think if it goes to the ground, I give Gane the advantage there. If it stays standing, I mean, I think Gane's got enough technical striking that he could sort of pick his shots against Lewis and find success there. And I think he's a lot faster as well. And he's a little bit bigger. So there's a lot of reasons to like Gane in this fight. He's going to be my pick for the matchup. And I think he gets it done on Saturday night. So I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Who are you picking on Saturday? Definitely some value on Derrick Lewis. I will mention that, but are you going that way, or do you think Cyril Gane gets it done? Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button on this video where you can find my breakdowns every single week along with my fighter interviews. My name is James Lynch. Enjoy the fight card this Saturday. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.